really productive scrimmage. Tried to make it as much game-like conditions as possible. Kind of treated it as a preseason game. We had over 120 plus plays when you count offense, defense, and special teams. But a lot of things we got to get cleaned up immediately. We're not game ready yet. Too many pre-snap penalties. Pre-snap in terms of formations, lining up, playing fast. Too many penalties. But I thought it was one of the more physical scrimmages that we've had. But we have a lot of work to do in the next 2 weeks to get game ready for a very talented football team coming in here.
How do you size up today's practice, I guess, from a technological standpoint? How did that go?
Yeah, that was good. That was good as much for the players as it was the coaches. You know, having all the iPads and all the technology here. You know, obviously the player-coach communication within the helmet, but I think the iPads and learning how to use them and being on the sideline and sideline adjustments. And I tell you, you know immediately why the play worked and why it didn't work. So we were practice that, so that's why the scrimmage kind of lingered a little bit, because, you know, we had to make sure that we're ready for that, and we'll continue to use that as well.
How would you kind of size up the picture at cornerback right now?
You know, I think it's still work in progress. You know, Jordan Mahoney's finally back practicing, so it's good to have him back. You know, you have competition. Justin Hodges has been very consistent throughout the course of training camp. You know, DJ Joyner, every rep that he gets is invaluable for him in his learning curve. So, you know, it's good getting Jordan back. We need more individuals to step up. You know, the other thing we wanted to do is we wanted to have significant playing time tonight for a lot of our freshmen and see who's kind of game ready now and kind of have a crystal ball who can be ready game 3, game 4, game 5 in moving forward. So that was as big tonight as anything.
Kind of same question with the defensive ends.
Yeah. You know, I think right now I would probably summarize it as continue to be work in progress, but I think it's going to be a defensive end by committee. You know, I think we have some very talented, some very capable players there. Again, them continuing to learn our style of play, the mentality, the effort that goes in a play-by-play situation. We tried to have some extended drives tonight as well. But I like that group collectively. I like them as a collective group. And I think that's the other thing is play into the collective. You know, we got to play collective football, meaning 11 for 11. And, you know, we'll have some great teach points, particularly end of the game situations that y'all saw, clock management, all those things that go into playing winning football.
James Reed has had a few interceptions for you this fall. Just how would you size up, you know, what you need to continue to get out of him, and then also the step he's taken since last year?
I would say James Reed arguably would be one of our most, if not the most improved player on our football team. He's really dedicated himself. The thing that I'll say about him right now is he's very consistent. We talk about consistency and performance, and you know what you're getting with James every single day, and not just from a defensive perspective, but from a special team standpoint as well.
Talk about the explosiveness that you're seeing from Zach Wallace.
Yeah, you know, Zach is one of those individuals who's worked very hard. And we always say, you know, seniors in their last year, everywhere I've been as a head coach, you either play your best football or your worst football. It's never any in between. And Zach Wallace right now is playing his best football. He's extremely consistent. He's one of the leaders on our football team, one of the leaders of our offense. He just does things right. And his accountability, his dependability, him as a teammate, him as a character in terms of a person, competitive character. He's a great representative of what we expect here in our standards at A-State.
You look like number 32 and 34 were taking all the kicks, it looked like. So is that kind of down to those two for that spot?
As of right now, you know, and we'll see. And, you know, some end of the game kicks I thought was really good in moving forward. And we'll probably, you know, we'll compete in pregame warm-ups before the UCA game, and who probably has the best pregame warm-up will be the one who starts the game.
Back to the secondary, some like Brandon Gryle had some nice moments today. You know, he had a pick, a pass breakup.
Yeah, Brandon again's been one of those individuals that continues to improve. He's extremely competitive, high IQ, very competitive, and the more football he plays, the better he's going to get.
Another example of Malik Hornsby making a couple of plays today.
Yeah, just get the ball in his hands. You know, whether it's a broken play, whether it's a design play, if you put the ball in his hands, that's what he can do. He can make plays.
Last one for me. Last week it was kind of the defensive line that had the adversity. This week it was the offensive line. How do you feel like they responded to that?
I do. I think they responded well. I'll know a little bit more when I watch the video, but I like to stand back behind and watch body language, watch the ability to snap and clear, the resolve, the resiliency, the composure that it takes, play in and play out. There's a couple times where we got stopped on 3rd and 1, 4th and 1, which as an offense you can't, but from a defense perspective, that's exciting as well. So again, we'll go back and, it's the little things, and we still don't do the routine things routinely. And you got to be able to make the routine plays and the fundamentals and details, whether it's a backside cutoff, whether it's your landmarks on an inside zone play, whether it's the proper depth, it's catching the football, all those things, it's executing a blitz path. The things that we do over and over again, they're still not habitual in doing it at an excellent level. And we have to be able to make, quote unquote, the layups when we have them.
One more thing for me, just about Marvin Ham. Obviously, 4th down stop at the start of practice and pretty visible in some other spots.
Yeah, I thought after the first week of camp, we're starting to see things of why we recruited him. Marvin's played a lot of football over his course of time at Colorado, and he just is continued to work. I think he's become more and more comfortable in the defensive scheme, and he's very, very athletic, and he has great football instincts.
All right.
Okay.